Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I am doing a sketchbook tour. Now this is a sketchbook that I bound myself. This is from the Strathmore 500 series. It's a mixed media paper. It's a little bit thinner than some of their other papers, and I did what's called a piano hinge binding, and these are skewers from my kitchen. So I had fun with this. This is actually a sketchbook that I started 2 years ago. Oosh, it's been a while. And I did 3 pages and then I stopped and went back to the other project I was working on. So this was something where I tried to do 2 overlapping drawing challenges at the same time and I couldn't make it work. So I set this aside, and this year I finally carved out time. I carved out an entire month and I was able to finish it. So the whole premise behind this is celebrating sunshine, and I do have some gold hand lettering that I did. February is a very sort of hit and miss month. There's a lot of rain, it's very cold, and so I thought it would be fun to celebrate the sun and things that are bright and cheery and just beautiful things to remind me that even though the sun's not currently out, it will be in a few months. So that was the whole premise. And you'll see the evolution of some of this stuff. You can definitely see a different style as it goes through, and I apologize for that. But again, I started this years ago. So I have little bits that I've attached. This is a washi tape. It's called Vanilla Sky. It's really, really beautiful. It's kind of like clouds, and it has warm yellows and light blues. And I never really incorporate washi tape into my sketchbooks, so this was kind of a fun chance to do that. So one of the things that's great about the piano hinge binding is that it lays perfectly flat. So I'm going to try and rattle off the things that I know that I can identify. Again, this is older. So we have bird eggs, we have hibiscus, ginkgo, I think this is a monstera, this looks like buttercups, maybe currants in a stylized version, nest eggs, and then this is a bird I did from a video. I had all these little watercolor bits and pieces that I was going to tape into this sketchbook, I think at one point. And like some had watercolor and some had ink elements on them, and I was going to tape some in, and I started doing that early on in here, and then I eventually dropped it. I didn't feel like it was adding anything. So here's another one. These are pages that I came back to. Again, like, I don't even know what some of these things are. This was a bird that was spotted in our area that isn't from our area, and sometimes birds get lost. Sometimes, I don't know. Different environmental elements can make birds change locations, and I think that's what happened with this bird specifically. I'm going to reference, this is, who are you? I don't even know that I have it. This is an American purple galnule. I'll write the name. I'll write the name somewhere so you can see it. And he wasn't supposed to be here, and he showed up anyway. So that's kind of fun. A butterfly, and I never watercolor butterflies, so this was a good opportunity. I started working on unique bird nests. So I took the theme from the first 2 pages and tried to repeat some things. So I have a different style of bird nest. This is like a weaver type of bird, some eggs, and then I decided I was going to try my hand at watercoloring fruit. So I never watercolor food. So this is my attempt at blueberries, a couple eggs. We have, these are poppies and maybe some maple leaves, some other styles of things, and some vines. Okay, that brings me to these pages. Let's see, we have this guy. He is a red-bodied swallowtail, which I'm not familiar with, which is fun. I did a little bit of raspberry in here. Yeah, some flowers, some vines. This guy over here, this is, who are you? Yeah, this is a robin, I believe. my daughter asked me to watercolor a robin. So you can really see like the difference. Like I don't know what style I was going for, but it was definitely like a fun sort of juvenile, cartoonish, and then it's more realistic. So I definitely changed styles, and then I have washi tape that I sort of vary in alternating locations. Here's another bird in a really cute nest that sort of has moss and things going for it. Oh, I don't know if you can hear my cat. She says hi. This is my version of the tulip magnolia. Now tulip magnolias are pink, and I went with this color because I was in a mood. Purple irises, which I've never watercolored irises before. That was a lot of fun. And then some different stylized leaves. Just really experimenting and trying things. This is another bird in a nest. And I'm not sure I know who this is. These are definitely kumquats. We've grown those before. Those are a really fun sort of edible thing to landscape with if you're into edible landscaping and having things like that in your yard. And so this is dry grasses. And yeah, so we have ginkgo, we have nasturtium, and then some little orange flower that I decided to mirror, sort of. So it's sort of a reflection of with the orange. All right, this is an emperor butterfly. And I've drawn this one before. If you're into purple butterflies, that's a lot of fun. I have some pansies on here, my version of a bachelor button. I have irises. This is an Allen's hummingbird. Yeah. Some pea pods. Like I was trying different botanical elements with different watercolors. Like some of my watercolors are opaque, some are transparent, some are semi-transparent, some are a little more granulating, and I was just experimenting with all of them and throwing them all up here. Hold on, my cat. Okay, sorry about that. One of our cats really doesn't like it when my husband leaves the house to walk the dog. She throws a tantrum. So again, this paper is thin, and some of the elements, when I got them wet on the page, there's a little bit of transfer. So I don't typically draw on both sides of the page because of transfer purposes. It's not a thing I like to do, and I definitely don't like watercoloring on both sides of the page. But this is only like a 24-page sketchbook that I made. So I decided just to go for it in mixed media. This is all the little bird silhouettes are micron pen. So there is a little bit of transfer on some stuff, and I'm just kind of going with it and, you know, calling it adding to the collage element of this sketchbook. Here's another bird that does weaving nests. I don't even know that I have the name of this one on here. I'm not sure. Some egg elements. Again, I tried to do a little bit more tree. These are cone flowers, some like oakish leaves. I'm just going for different leaf shapes, the different veining, different overlapping, different mixtures. Here's a blue butterfly. This is the Miami blue butterfly, and I'm not really familiar with that one, so I threw that one on here. And by threw, I mean watercolored. Snapdragons, which I absolutely love that flower. Some angel's trumpet flowers. Here's a mountain. This is the mountain bluebird. There's different bluebirds, and I really like this one. It's very, very pale and has a really nice sort of ombre blue effect. And we have some hellebore flowers here that I tried to do. I think this one I started on a video. I am real slow going when it comes to flowers. Botanicals are not a thing I typically do a lot of, nor do I do a lot of flowers in general. And I don't know, I think I've only watercolored flowers once before in a sketchbook challenge, and that one was from 2021. So this was like a lot of trial and error to figure out layering and drying times and all that stuff. Okay. This is a Rufus horneo, and they sort of do like a mud type nest situation, which is a lot of fun. I'm not familiar with some of these birds, so it was a lot of fun to throw them on here, especially because when I typically do bird drawing challenges, I go for ones that are either super bright, you know, the blues, the purples, the greens, the resplendent quetzal. Like I go for things, a toucan, the dodo, I go for things that are really recognizable, really synonymous with birds. So to do like some smaller brown birds or some smaller yellow birds, it's not something I've done before. So that's really good that I'm trying things and branching out and keeping the challenge going. I have never had these in my life. So gooseberries, I know it can be like a jam or something. I'm just not familiar with them. So that was a lot of fun to draw. I have some hidden lotuses in here, which you'd never find these things together. So that's sort of the fun thing I did here, was just really spicing it up. Gosh, morning glories, which is one of my favorite things to grow. There's a purple one that's absolutely beautiful. Again, we have some of the micron tape in here. Buttercups, ranunculus for the folks that like that name. I just was really trying many things. All right, next pages. We have, this is a great spangled fritillary, and I'm not familiar with that butterfly at all. I am not familiar with a lot of insects, a lot of moths, a lot of butterflies. Like I know nothing about most of them. So it's a lot of fun to be able to incorporate that kind of stuff. And I went for complementary colors, blue and orange. So on here we have loquats. I have the Himalayan blue poppy. I have some hydrangeas. Over here I have blue tulips. I have, who are you? I've drawn this one a few times before. This is a kingfisher. And drawn, I mean painted. And just some leaves, and then I threw in a little bit of wildflowers and some sort of vining situation. And then there's the back. So this is the last page I did. And this is a purple martin for my daughter who loves purple, and cherry blossom for my other daughter. And then this is just a flower I saw that I thought looked pretty and had similar coloring. So you can really see, like, I tried to go for different shapes, different colorings, different usages, different mixtures. I really tried to find the widest variety of things to combine and throw together. And it sort of looks like different collage botanical elements with little bits of nature thrown in. This was a challenge. It was an absolute challenge because the only thing I'm comfortable watercoloring is birds. That's the only thing that I'm comfortable with. So to do other things I'm not comfortable with is, like, it takes a lot longer. So I can whip up a bird and I can feel comfortable with it, and then I go to move on to something else and I'm like, okay, how do I do that? How is that gonna look? I don't understand the form and the shape and the layers and the highlights and the shadows and how things fold and bend. So this was really good for me. It was a really good thing for me to try, and certain pages took about 2.5 hours. Some of them took up to 4 hours, and that was like me trying to figure out layering and drying time and whether or not I was using my blow dryer and utilizing my time well. I've never watercolored berries before, so that's a lot of fun to try things I've never done. I really enjoyed this. I have to say though that I think I like drawing leaves and like botanicals more with ink and colored pencil. So I really like leaves with ink, and I think I really like flowers with colored pencil. As for birds, I love watercoloring birds. And I enjoyed some of the tree elements a lot too. So I think at some point I may this year, July is World Watercolor Month, I may make another one of these sketchbooks. It'll be twice as thick, so I only use it one-sided, because some of my stuff does tend to get pretty wet. And I may do some trees and branches, and throw in some birds again. I'm bird obsessed. I love birds. I think I should find ways to include birds in all my sketchbooks if I can. I probably won't do any birds in March, but I will get to what the March video is all about next weekend. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I don't ever do things like this, and I think the reason why I wasn't able to finish this when I started it was because I was doing another drawing challenge where I was spending 2 hours a day. So to do something that's 4 hours on top of 2 hours is 6 hours, and I don't have 6 hours to create art. I'm trying to squeak in anywhere from 3 to 5 max. 5 is a lot. It's an absolute lot with everything else I have going on in my world. So I see now why I wasn't able to finish this when I started it. But it's also really good for me to see like where it started to where it ended, because the style changed and my interests changed and the way I went about watercoloring things changed. So this is like a little beach plover guy, which is so cute, but I don't know. I don't like this style for me. This isn't the right fit. So it's really interesting to see how I prefer to watercolor birds now. And I do prefer them in a different style. So, and then I also dropped adding the sort of glued in elements of different things. And this one right here. It's fun, but I don't feel like it added anything. Like, watercoloring on this was enough. I didn't have to add other little watercolors from other tutorials and stuff. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these little pieces parts. I may just give them to one of my kids and they can put them in their sketchbook and have fun with them and try weird things. Yeah, a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It's really hard to watercolor in February for drying times and making sure my watercolors don't mold and the moisture and all the stuff going on. But I appreciate myself for trying this and being stubborn and having the courage to go back to this, because there's such a mental block that I found with this drawing challenge when you start something years prior and then you go back to it and you're like, I'm not even in the same place that I was. I'm not even in the same place mentally, emotionally, physically. My style has changed. My interests have changed. The way I watercolor has been tweaked and evolved. So to go back to this and be like, okay, we're just going to do it anyway, took a lot of like mental fortitude for me to be like, it's okay. It's not going to match. It's not going to like flow evenly, but we're going to have fun with it. We're going to try things. We're going to watercolor some of our favorite things. And I love blues. Blue is my favorite color. So to sneak in some of my favorite things is keeps it fun and exciting. So I really hope you enjoyed this sort of sketchbook challenge, this watercolor challenge. I hope it inspired you or motivated you or gave you an idea. If you want to see the individual pictures, they're up on my Instagram. So I posted the photos as I was trying to do them. Kingfisher, that's such a fun bird. Like, it's complementary colors unto itself. Like, you're already ready already. This is what I mean by complementary colors. Like, it's opposite color, opposite the color wheel. So orange and blue. I love when animals understand color theory. Good job. Yeah, this was just fun. It was just a lot of fun. And do things that are fun and do things that challenge you and do things you've never done before. Like, I have never watercolored hydrangeas before. That was a learning curve. Like, a lot of this was learning curve. And I think that's why it took hours. But yeah, so it's very mixed media. Watercolor and then, you know, little bits of pen. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope, you know, this finds you well. It finds you inspired. I hope this finds you creating and wanting to keep going at it. You know, making sketchbooks is not a thing I'm very familiar or comfortable with. So that's something I really want to hone in on this year and sort of get better at. And that's what this whole thing is about. Creating every day and drawing every day and painting every day. It's just to get better. It's just to improve. It's just to try new things and be brave and get weird with it, because a lot of this is a little weird. And I don't know any leaves that look like this, but it was fun to try it. So I hope your week is absolutely wonderful, and I will talk to you later. Bye.